Howdy, howdy, it's Trisha Lee. Welcome to the Disruptive Technology Hangout. We're had a few technical difficulties, so we're getting a little bit of a late start here. So we're going to go for about 45 minutes. And with me, as always, is my distinguished partner, Laurier Liev, aka Larry Lever, and he is the CEO of TK Environmental and the VP of Product Development for King Sunshine Solar Systems. Larry has been inventing and carrying businesses with his patents for well over a decade, maybe a couple decades by now. He's also a musician, and that's how we met. But anyway, tonight we're going to be talking about transport and all the opportunities we see around the new type of vehicles mainly that are coming out for our personal use. We may touch on some other types of public transport, buses and trucks and trains and cars and all kinds of ways of technology for transportation, mainly of people, I guess, but I suppose goods as well. So it'll be kind of a general, I don't know, Larry, what did you want to talk about? Why don't you introduce our topic?
Sure. It's the new Han Energy solar-powered cars.
Ah, there we go. I knew it was something to do with vehicles.
Yeah, and I'd like to start by showing the video of the unveiling of these 4 new cars. This is the first of their kind solar-powered cars that are going to be available to the public. And it's pretty new stuff. It just came out on the 3rd of this month. And if you can help me show this video on YouTube, or I can just send you a link to the
just try the screen share on the left-hand side, the green arrow, click that, and then you can play the video on your computer.
Okay.
Yeah, so I kind of did it on the topic there. I promoted it as technology or transport technology, which I guess it is technically, but I could have been more specific in my promotion. But obviously we didn't discuss our topic very thoroughly before we got on here. So this is just a casual conversation that we like to have. And can you find the green button with the big arrow on the left-hand side with the icons? Yeah. Then you can just pick your screen. And so, well, there we go. You have to pick there you go.
Are you seeing this?
I can't hear it.
I gotta move because there's somebody with a weed whacker out here. Thanks, man. So.
So I can't hear anything. Can you tell us about it?
It's mainly, this is in Chinese, but pretty much this is the only available video that has been released out of China, and it shows you the 4 different vehicles. And as you can see, these people are having fun driving them, throwing babies up in the air, jumping up in the air, and yeah, this is a whole big time game changer. One of these vehicles reminds me a little bit of my Scion XB, but there's that red thing that just looks like it's from outer space. It is a weird, weird looking van, and I imagine that's what it is. So this is the unveiling of the vehicles that Han Energy put on for China. They put this on in their own country, and it's pretty posh. They really know how to spend money and have a good time. And you can tell I don't speak Chinese, but as you'll see these vehicles, they're coming out of these doors right now. They're very unique looking, and as with the Tesla automobiles, there's a lot of room on the inside of these cars. The coolest thing about these cars is they're designed with the solar panels in the actual construction of the vehicle. In some of them, it's difficult to see, but on this one, you'll see there's solar panels on the rooftop, and that's a four-seater, obviously. These are really lightweight vehicles, and they are just really different looking. The most amazing thing about these vehicles is as we all know, they've been working a lot with solar powered cars, but they've been mainly testing. This is like not even anything ready for market. It's mainly university students that put together completely solar powered vehicles. Well, the Chinese have got technology that they attained from a company. I believe the company is called Alta Dynamics or something to that effect. They bought this company in 2014, and this company had invented a really unique type of solar panel. It's a flexible solar panel that has an efficiency rating of about 35%, which when people heard this, a lot of people didn't believe it because the standard for this type of technology is less than 20%. So this company came out, they had this incredible technology. Han Energy came in and they bought the company lock, stock, and barrel. And I'll tell you a little bit more about what happened after that, but let's have a look at this vehicle that's coming out here. You can see there's the solar cells that are on the hood of the vehicle, and there's also solar cells on the roof of this vehicle. And this is the vehicle that kind of reminds me of my Scion. The doors are kind of huge, and it's aerodynamically, I guess it's a shape that works apparently. Everything is very well closed in, so you don't have a lot of things sticking out. Look at the size of that solar panel on the roof. It's huge. The most amazing things about these vehicles, you can leave them in the sun for a day, maybe 2 days, and then you can drive like 300 kilometers with them. So this is the technology I think a lot of people have really been waiting for, because it's kind of jumping over the whole, how do I charge my vehicle? What kind of solar panels do I have to plug my vehicle in? These cars, you don't even have to plug them in to a power source. The sun just comes out and starts charging up the batteries so that they can go. And I've been waiting for this technology for some time, and I think a lot of other people have. And here's another one. We can the size of that hood is just huge, and it's basically just a big solar panel collecting solar energy. What I read as soon as these came out, it was that they could go in for about 50 miles. I can't remember what that works out to for kilometers, but they can go for about 50 miles after sitting in sunlight for about 6 hours. So yeah, this is a whole different ball game now, people, because everybody's going to have to, if they're not already thinking about it, they better start thinking about the best solar cells and solar panels that they can install on their electric cars, because the Chinese have got it happening already. Some people don't believe this stuff is real. On the other hand, I do believe it's real because while we're seeing it with our own eyes here, I don't think there's any smoke and mirrors going on here. These are electric vehicles that have solar panels built in. And it's something for everyone to keep in mind that the Chinese have a very different way of going about things in business. They're producing products that they know the public are looking for. They're not afraid of anybody. They're not afraid of other businesses trying to deter them from coming ahead with or going ahead with new technology. And I believe, because what I know about the vehicles themselves, or the solar panels that are on these cars, are a type of technology that pretty much came out in 2014. I remember reading about the company, and then all of a sudden there was nothing on. There wasn't a lot of information about this company on the internet anymore, or in the media. And I thought, well, that's really strange. How can a company come out boasting that they got a flexible solar panel that produces 31, I think it was 31% at the time, and all of a sudden it disappeared? Well, these wings, a lot of these vehicles, they have the gull wing design, which I think is really cool too. But just look at these cars; they are so different looking, and so it's like Back to the Future kind of automobiles. They're so different in design. I've never seen anything like it. It's like the Chinese went to the future and brought back cars. But I guess apparently the future is now. And this is all very new information. This is a news feed, as you can see, that came out of China, which is available on YouTube. If you just search for Han Energy unveiling 4 new solar powered cars, these are the cars, and they are 4 very unique looking vehicles. I like that one there. That's kind of sporty looking. And there's the one that kind of reminds me of my Scion. That red thing, that is just weird. It's from outer space. I don't know how it works, how it goes, but judging from the size of the solar panels on the roof of that red vehicle, I would say that thing probably goes a long distance. And these shapes of these vehicles, I would tend to believe are based on technology that we're not. I guess that hasn't been exploited here in North America. Um, as everyone knows, Chinese has rocket programs. They have aerodynamic programs. They have, uh, uh, of course, they have an air force. They have planes, jets. So there's a lot of technology China has that I don't think we know a lot about. So this guy here, this is Li Hyun. He is the CEO of Han. Or sorry, is that him? I can't remember. Which guy is which? Is that Lee on the? No, that must be him on the left. Anyways, he's the CEO of Han Energy, and I believe Trish and I discovered him when we were shopping around for investors, because he is a very wealthy man. Um, I have no idea what this woman's talking about. However, what was just taking place there between those 2 gentlemen, one from Han Energy and the other one was from Photon, I think Photon or something, is a bus company And what they were doing there is they were publicly signing an agreement. Wow. Can you hear this guy?
A little bit. It's pretty quiet. Yeah, this is exciting. I know we've talked about uh, disruptive technology before with the solar powered airplane, the solar one, and now we have the solar cars. So it's yeah, pretty cool. So that solves a lot of the issues as far as having to plug in and you know, a lot of times they're talking about, oh, well, when you plug in your vehicle, you're using power from a coal-fired power plant when you plug it in at home. So it wasn't really saving on the pollution, but I just thought, oh, well, at least the pollution's not going on the streets where people are walking around. So I wouldn't imagine these cars have any emissions if they're solar powered. That's just awesome.
Yeah, well, something that I was going to get into about this whole deal with these four vehicles is there was something that happened about 2 or 3 years ago. Um, Maybe it was less. I can't remember the exact time frame, but because of our interest in Han Energy and the type of company that they are, we're very interested at King Sunshine uh, as to the way this company does business, simply because they are into all types of renewable energy, and they mainly focused on hydro power. However, their Lee, the CEO of the company, Lee Hyun, I think his name is pronounced, he is a very bright-eyed sort of individual, and I believe he's the sort of guy that is looking for the best technology available that is the best for the environment. And I've never met this guy, but I kind of love him because he seems like a very environmentally minded individual, simply based on what Han Energy does. Now, something I wanted to talk a little bit about. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it because I think a lot of this is going to come out in the wash here in the next few months. But something happened with the Han Energy stock. I remember hearing that their stock was frozen, and no one was allowed to trade stocks of Han Energy for several months. I can't remember the exact. Do you remember the exact time that we found that out? No, it was definitely about a year ago, or maybe more. And I thought it was strange. I had never heard of this happening before in any kind of business, and it was. I believe it was shortly after that Elon Musk had gone to visit Lee in at Han Energy in China to talk to him about thin film solar. This is the technology that Han Energy bought out of California that I mentioned during the video from this Alta Dynamics or whatever. I can't remember the full name of the company out of California. And they bought this thin film solar technology with a very high efficiency percentage. So in the past, we have heard of things when someone comes up with new technology that is disruptive and can change an industry, whether it's an old industry or a new energy. Um, there's a lot of businesses and infrastructures that don't want to know about it. They don't want it to happen. And simply because it's going to affect their business probably in a negative way. Well, we're looking at 2016 now here. We have something called the internet, which didn't exist back then. And when information comes available to people, boom, it's on the internet. Like this unveiling of these four cars just came out on July 3rd, only a few days ago, less than 2 weeks ago, and everybody's got access to it. I think their number of hits on this on this YouTube video is rather high for a short amount of time. It's like 5,000 or 9,000 or something like that. Anyways, what happened here was after the company's stocks were frozen, Wall Street, I heard, had something to do with that happening, whereas investors were dumping the stock. And I'm not sure, I worked in the financial planning industry and I didn't know a lot about the ins and outs of Wall Street. It's kind of a different game in comparison to financial planning. However, they were trying to drop the price of Han Energy stuff, and uh, apparently, what happened when basically, I think Wall Street was trying to make this company go bankrupt, and it didn't work. And I believe the reason it didn't work is because Han Energy is owned by the Chinese, and what happened, what I've gathered from the information on the internet was these cars were about to hit the market. These cars they weren't just invented a few weeks or a few months ago. They were invented when this stock um, disruptive occurrence happened with Wall Street. Those cars were ready to be unveiled when this happened. And so there's some kind of relation to that. And like I said, it's probably going to more information about it's going to come out pretty soon. I can only find one YouTube video of a guy filling us in a little bit with a little more detailed information, but it was, it's not coming from a reputable information source like PB Magazine or Solar Thermal Magazine or one of these publications. It was coming from just a guy. But I'm sure, just like we learned about the Chinese being accused of dumping product back in 2012 into the European market, that information became available to the public through those types of media entities, trustworthy sources for information. And that's how we all learned about that. So what happened here when when Wall Street tried to disrupt the Han Energy's business, we got to remember here, something everybody's got to remember is Han Energy is not a small company. They are a massive Chinese corporation, and they really don't need the stock market. And so what happened was the Chinese government fixed the situation and completely bailed Han Energy Solar out of their situation. And how that happened, I don't know. There's still more information that's probably going to become available in the next few weeks or months about what exactly happened. But I have a hunch that it had to do with they were bringing a product, they're ready to bring a product and getting ready to unveil these cars. And somebody said, we've got to stop them from doing that. How are we going to do it? Let's freeze their stock. I don't know. I'm not sure who came up with the idea or the plan to disrupt this unveiling of these vehicles. But after the Chinese government bailed out Han Energy, hey, it's back. Business as usual. Not sure what happened in Wall Street, but frankly, it's just the way it is. It is what it is. And now these cars have been unveiled to the public. We've seen them now. We see technology that we haven't seen before actually in use on an electric vehicle, this new solar panel technology, which has got incredibly high efficiency. And it is really, really exciting to see. I didn't think it was, I didn't know when it was going to happen. It should have happened in 2015, I believe. That's when all this turmoil was going on with Han Energy stock. So they bought the solar panel company in 2014, that we know is a fact. And so they incorporated that technology into a whole bunch of hand energy solar products. And then I believe these cars were part of that. However, the EV market probably knew about it and thought, okay, we've got to do something about this. This is such disruptive technology. Like I said at the beginning of this hangout, it's going to disrupt the entire electric vehicle industry simply because I don't know of any other manufacturer that's putting solar cells on their vehicles that are 31% efficiency that the sun can charge just by leaving the vehicle in the street. I haven't heard of anything like this before. And guess what? The Chinese have got it, and the Chinese are selling it. They're going to start selling these cars. It's a complete game changer. It's so exciting. I've never seen anything like it in my life in any business venture that I've been involved with or have experience with in business. I've never seen anything like it before. It's really quite a story. They'll probably make a movie out of it someday. So we now have cars that we can drive without plugging them into anything. Just leave it outside in the sun. Let it get nice and hot, and then drive off somewhere. Isn't that great? And so, yeah, this is something I thought we should discuss and talk about. And it'd be really nice to find out a little bit more about what happened in Wall Street and what was the cause of it, like how it was instigated, who instigated it, and the reason for doing it. So I'm not sure even if the media or the standard media is going to be interested in chasing that story simply because it is what it is.
Um, yeah, I'm not very plugged in that regards as far as like what's happening on TV, but a little bit. And from what bit that I am, I haven't seen any kind of advertising or news stories or any really coverage of the unveiling. Like I'm sure it's more a Chinese thing, but they may. I wouldn't be surprised because I heard about this before, where they've put up some roadblocks and made like I know they had all these regulations and stuff that they had to be able to pass with the, I believe it was the smart cars or maybe it was something else.
Yeah, smart cars. I remember that.
And they didn't want to let them on the road because they were too efficient or something. I'm not sure why. Do you know why they didn't want to let them on the road? But I know that that was kind of a thing for a while.
I remember a lot of people thinking they were unsafe.
Yeah, well, that there are people are that it's going to be a problem somehow, and they may put up some roadblocks as far as regulations and being able to operate them on the streets. But I'm not too sure. That I don't think that they really should be able to, but it wouldn't surprise me if they try it. And the reason I don't think they should be able to is because where we live in Camrose, Alberta, there's like all kinds of these little senior citizens that are on these scooters, and they've got them like closed in with cabs, and they're driving them in the winter on icy roads and stuff, and on the sidewalks and stuff like that, these little like scooters. And so if they can get away with that, really there's no argument against. However, I wouldn't be surprised if they come up with some argument against these hand energy vehicles. What do you think about that?
Well, it's interesting that you say that because I was just talking to another business partner about, or potential business partner, about the same issue. He was concerned about certain foreign vehicles, foreign EVs being allowed to be sold in Canada. And I found out that the people in Quebec brought in, I think it's called the Twizy, which is an electric two-seater vehicle, which is really similar to the vehicle that you were just talking about, the smart car, it's about looks to me like the same size, but it looks like a cross between a smart car and a what are those things called? Not a YouTube, an ATV. Kind of looks like a cross between those two. It's kind of small. It looks really funky, and it's fully electric. And yeah, it's not as big as it's bigger than a motorcycle, but it's smaller than a standard car. And so, with Quebec allowing, or this is Transport Canada, has allowed this vehicle to be sold and operated in Quebec, which means it pretty much opens the door for any EVs that we want to bring into Canada for people to drive around in. So I think they're kind of throwing the would it be a rule book? I think they're throwing out the window at Transport Canada, just because we're interacting like you said, these old people on scooters booting up and down the streets. It's just happening. What are they going to do? Arrest these seniors? I don't think so. And so when stuff like that starts happening in society, what choice doesn't Transport Canada got? I don't think they have any choices. It's a very similar issue to the UAVs, drones, quadcopters, those sort of things. I was told by some people that are come from the radio control history books that used to operate planes and stuff in the 60s that weren't allowed to fly in certain areas and things like that. Well, you've got people flying these quadcopters in major cities at altitudes that planes fly at. And what can the FCC do about it? Not a heck of a lot. There's just too many people doing it. And so, it could become a potential health risk for people that like to fly places by plane, because if one of these quadcopter gets stuck in an engine, it might cause some problems. Maybe it won't. Maybe it's the same as like a duck flying into it or a goose, because that happens to planes all the time.
Yeah, it does for sure. When that plane hit the Hudson's River, I think they thought they hit a goose or something.
Yeah.
But landed safely, luckily.
Yeah, and so with Transport Canada allowing this vehicle, this Twizy thing, I'm pretty sure it's called the Twizy, in Quebec. This happened less than a year ago, I believe, too. That opens the doors for everybody to bring in whatever they want for electric vehicles, which in my opinion is great. The more, the merrier, because to quote Elon Musk, it'd be nice to get the F off oil and gas.
Yeah, I like that guy.
Yeah, and
Sure.
he sounds to me like quite the environmentalist. And it's yeah, we're all driving electric vehicles, we're going to produce a lot less pollution. And as if we keep going the way we are, if this wasn't happening, and yeah, we'd be gassing ourselves. I had an argument with a younger guy recently about sitting beside his exhaust pipe and breathing in the fumes, and and I said it's not healthy for you, and he says, "Oh, it doesn't bother me at all." And I thought, well, what if you take the exhaust pipe and stick it in the cab of your truck and go sit in there for a few hours? You're gonna die. I've known people that died from exhaust from their vehicle. They weren't sitting in their vehicles very long, maybe 2 or 3 hours. They fell asleep and they died. So this pollution is going into the air every day. The air, the only air that we have available for us to breathe, we're polluting it. We got to stop doing that. So Transport Canada, I believe, has made the right decision.
Some results of poor quality air.
Yeah.
exhibiting. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, even when they had the plug-in electrics, I just thought it was way better because even if the electricity did come from coal, at least that pollution wasn't blowing around on the streets. It would be out in the plant. They typically are in rural, less densely populated locations. At least here in Alberta, our coal plants are pretty much away from dense population. So definitely the air quality benefit will be really, really awesome. I know that they've been able to, clean up a lot of the areas that have had severe smog, and China almost, I think, has suffered with the problem of smog more than most places around the world, and it only happened recently. And so they're a lot more motivated to bring in this kind of technology. So they're kind of leading the way out of necessity. And
Oh,
so it
yeah.
reminds me of that old saying, necessity is the mother of invention. So hope here it's like Canada is really sparsely populated, so we don't really notice the poison that much at all because it goes where we don't see it and stuff. Um,
That.
so it spreads out, and but in places where it's more densely populated, they've had problems in the past. Like I know Los Angeles cleaned up smog, and now China's had to do the same. So uh, they've been quicker to act, though, I think, because of necessity.
Well, perfect point, Trish. I just got an email today from PV Magazine, and one of the headlines is China's Hubei province added 800 megawatts of new photovoltaics in the first 6 months of 2016.
Yeah,
800.
they're motivated.
800
Highly
megawatts. I don't know what we've done in Alberta. I don't think it's 800 megawatts.
I don't I don't think we'd even need to consume that much in Alberta.
I don't
And
know. I'm not an electrician.
no, me neither. Yeah, we just kind of have these conversations where they're real casual, just as lay people. So if you're just happen to be tuning in to this, reach out to Larry or myself, leave a comment or whatever, and we'd love to hear your suggestions of other topics that we can talk about, or potentially you can come on as an expert if there's disruptive technology that you're connected to that you can share some knowledge out there with people. So it's basically just a platform to share ideas and kind of make our lackadaisical predictions as to where we think some of these new technologies could lead and what opportunities we see in the marketplace with the emergence of all of this awesome new technology like Han Energy's new solar powered vehicles. Super exciting. So we're coming up to the top of the hour. Did you have any final thoughts that you wanted to add about the electric car?
Well, it'd be nice to know exactly when they're going to be available, and whether they're going to be available or not is kind of a question to me because everything I've read is saying that Han Energy has unveiled these solar cars for commercial, and I'm not sure what that really means. Does that mean companies are allowed to produce them in their own countries, or are they? Does that mean is it available for people to buy and start selling as dealers? I'm not sure what the headline really means. I think I have to dig a little deeper into what that statement really means. So it'd be nice to.
Yeah. Cool. Definitely we can revisit this topic and maybe we can gather some people that with more knowledge to share what they know is coming down the pipe as far as these solar powered vehicles are coming. And I know in our other hangout we talked about potential commercial airlines with the solar powered airplane. So yeah, there's all kinds of really cool potential and possibilities for uh, these new clean and super exciting technologies. Imagine how much less expense will be involved when you can use the sun for fuel. Like if the average person looks at the amount of money they spend on gasoline just to go back and forth from work alone, let alone, you know, taking your kids to football or whatever the heck you got going on, just alone and getting back and forth to work for your average person is spending, you know, a few dollars a day, which over the months and years is really an impactful um, change and ability to create more resources by using the resources that are freely and cleanly given to us by Mother Nature. So thank goodness that China had so much problem with smog a few years ago, or we may not see this seen this technology for a couple more years. So super exciting, and we'll definitely revisit this topic when we get some information on when this product might be available in Canada. And so I'm super excited because at this point in the Hangout, we're just getting ready to end, and I have the opportunity to invite you to join us on the Empower Hour. If you're on our free energy page, right below the video, you'll see a button, and in 2 more minutes, our Aussie mommy, Sarita Cleese, Mommy on a Mission, she's an awesome single mom who lives in Perth, Australia, and she is going to be sharing some of her tips as to how she's been able to generate like a $10,000 per month, results not typical, income just from the internet using internet marketing. Which, if you're not aware, the internet has been a huge disruptive technology platform and source. And the whole reason that we started doing these Hangouts is because what we've learned about internet marketing and how powerful of a tool it is for businesses to use for generating more interest in their creative ideas, their projects, their products, their services. And Empower Network is just an amazing way to maybe be able to generate a little bit of extra income in addition to maybe a job or a business that you're already operating, or just be able to start a business and get experience in running operation as a business owner. Or if you already have a business, it's a great resource for learning advertising skills and sales techniques and just all general knowledge to help you be successful. And I know Larry can attest to the knowledge that he's learned from me being a part of the community to a lot of his success. So the call should be starting right away. Go ahead and click that button. And if I don't see you in the future, I'll see you out in the pasture. So thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you later, Larry.
All right, thanks.
Bye-bye. Thursday
Bye.
night, same time, same place.